All right, so this class we will try to uh, uh, hmm. Okay. All right, so I sent you some instructions uh, in an email, right? I guess yes. Probably on Monday I sent you an email with some of these instructions, right? So we discussed the Git version control, right? So you would have like a main repository, a master repository, and then you would have like some branches. So you want to like write your code and push your branch to the master repository. So this is the code to do that, right? So far we have been using the remote version, right? So you just go to your GitHub, then you create a repository, then you upload your file on that repository, and then you commit. And that is how you publish your programs on your Git repository, right? That is what we are doing till now. But then there's something called as Git version, right? Version control, where you can have like one master program, and then to that master program you can contribute, right? Everyone can contribute, right? So that is something which these instructions uh, help us do. How many? Yeah. Hmm? For what? Yeah, Xcode. How many of you are using Windows? Oh my God. One, two, three. Windows. So you would need a virtual machine, a virtual box. Okay. Mm, all right. So that's fine. I can share some new set of instructions for Windows users. So what I'll do is I'll just show you, right? I'll describe you what I have sent you and how it works in Mac operating system, right? If you have Windows, that's fine. You don't have to run these for now. Okay, so you don't have to do anything. You just have to watch what I'm doing, right? And if you have any questions, you ask me. Okay, the first instruction I sent you is install the Xcode, right? So it's a developer's app called Xcode, and it is for Mac operating system, right? You cannot download that for Unix or Windows. So you first have to install this Xcode from the App Store for Mac user. If you have a MacBook, you can try these, right? But if Windows, like just watch what I'm discussing, right? So install Xcode. So I have installed Xcode. So what I asked you to do is just go on this website, and then there would be an option to download a DMG file, right? .dmg file. You download that in your MacBook. You double click that, and then you just hit next, 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 right? And then you just select all the default options to complete your Xcode install. It's easy. It takes like, I don't know, like less than half an hour, right? 15, 20 minutes, you should have Xcode installed on your MacBook, right? So once that is done, then you can open a terminal and then type in git, right? So previously, in the previous version, you have to have Xcode and then you have to have the git install separate, right? So you would install your Xcode and then separately you have to install the git software. But now what they have done is they have pre-installed git with Xcode, right? So if you install Xcode, you should have git installed with Xcode. So you don't have to install it again. So now I have my Xcode installed, right? So the instruction is go to your terminal, right? So this is my new terminal window. So in this terminal window, I'll just type in git, right? So you see set of instructions here, right? So git has been installed when I install Xcode. And when I type in git, then it gives me instructions on how to use this, right? So how to use this git git statement, right? So you want to check the version of this git. You type in git space dash dash version. You can give a path. You can do many things, right? With your configuration, right? So these are some instructions on how to run your git statement. So that's the usage, right? So if you need some instructions on these git command, then you just type in git and then you will get this piece of information as your output on your terminal. Okay, that's it. So this is what I copied and pasted for your reference, right? So these are the instructions which you can do with your git, right? So you can clone it, you can initiate your new repository, you can add files to your git, you can move, restore, remove, then you can do some pattern matching grep, right? You can branch it, you're committed, merge it, reset it, switch, tag, pull, push, fetch, right? So there are many things which you can do using this git command. Do you understand, right, what I've done here? Right, so git Xcode, and then just type in and you'll get the set of instructions which you can use with this statement git. So now all of you should have a GitHub account, right? So for accessing GitHub, you need to have your user ID, right? You have created a username, a user ID, and a password. Now, previously, we used to use the same Git ID and password. So this applies to Windows and Mac users. So previously, you just use your Git ID. So I have my Git ID here, right? So this is my my Git ID, right? This is my Git ID and the password. I use it. I can I can use all these Git commands just by user ID and password, right? But like last year, they have created this authentication of a thing here. So that password won't work, right? So your default password for your GitHub, that won't work if you want to do your pushing or use your Git from locally, right? So that password won't work. So they suggested that you can create a token, right? So this is called as they call it as personal access token, right? So your Git password is not going to work if you want to push your programs locally. So they suggest to use this personal access token. So how to get the personal access token? So to get this token, you go to your GitHub account, go in settings, developer settings, and then there's an option for personal access token. and then there is an option called generate new token, and it should give you a unique letter and number token, so which looks something like this. Okay, so I go into my Git, I go into settings, then in settings, there on the left side, I guess there is an option called developer settings here, right? Developer settings. Then in developer settings, I have an option called personal access tokens, right? And then I can do generate new token. Generate new token. Then you have to just describe what this token will be used for. So probably let's use for accessing a repo or repositories, and then generate a token, and just write some note, some comment that this is a new token, right? And then you generate token, and you should have this unique key or a token, right? This is your password for local Git function, right? So you're pushing things locally. So this is the key which you need to use with your user ID. Your password won't work. So this instruction here gives you information on how to generate this key, and this unique key needs to be used to push or commit your local files to your Git repository. Do you understand? Can you all generate this token? And let me know if you have this this key, if you can get the key. Just follow the instructions from that email. Everyone should have this key. Okay, 5 minutes. Just put any comment like this is for this class. It's just something to remember. Why did you generate a token for, right? Just a comment. Just you need to select one box. Why do you need it? So you need to comment something, and then what you will access. So you can click any of the boxes, like I want to access a repository, right? You see the repo box there? So you click that, and then you generate the token. So everyone has this token. Okay, anyone who does not have the token? On the left side is personal. On the left side. No. One. One. The laptop. Right. So going to going click on the profile icon setting. Then on the left side, go to the end. Left side. Go to the end. Down. Last option is developer page. Then personal access system. Okay, anyone else issue with the token? So you can create the token and you can also delete it, right? So if you feel that you don't need anymore, right? So you can delete it and then you can create a new token. Then if you had like multiple tokens, you can also like revoke all, so it won't work, right? Or you can delete them and you can create new ones, right? So you can have like n tokens. You forgot your password. Yeah, works. Okay, so then you write something for the comment, like this is what people are. And then you choose any option or any of the box. The import option like these. Actually, then you want okay, that's it. And you have it on and so you can do it. Okay, so you should So sometimes it asks for a password because since you're creating this token for the first time, it needs to validate that you are the user, right? You are the it's your account. So it will ask to re-enter the password. So you should re-enter that and then just follow the same instructions, and you should have this unique uh, letter and number token. And mine should be different than yours, right? Everyone should have a unique key. So next instruction here is once you have this unique key, this is the key which you'll use for your git command, right? So you have the git command, and if you want to like git push, git commit, git anything, it will ask for a password, and this is the password, right? So next thing which I'll show you is how to push your local program, right? Local program to say a uh, master directory, right? So like as we discussed last time, so you should have a master repo, and to this master repo, you should have like say student one, student two, student three, or these are called branches, right? So since now we have created, so we have installed Git now, right? Git on your command line. So what you want to do is you want to create a program or a branch, and you want to push it to this master repo. This master repo is the one which you are using for OOP repository, right? Everyone has a repository. Everyone has a repository for this class, right? So that's your master. Everyone has that repository. We call that as a master repo. I can also give you mine. Yeah, okay. So your class repository can be a master repository, but let's assume my repository as a master repository, right? So my repository name here is. Let's try to push your. Okay, let me share my repository name. So my repository is what is it? Let's do it. This repository code. Okay, so this is my repository. GitHub SPAWR2 and Object-Oriented Programming Lab. So the best way to send you this link would be, I guess, to email you. Let me email you. Okay. So this is the link for my repository, which I'm emailing you. So everyone should have an email. And please open your mailbox. And in your mailbox, you should have this link here, HTTP link, GitHub, my name, and the repository name is object-oriented-programming-lab, right? That's my repo. It's public, so everyone can try to push it, right? So the idea is I have a repo called object, that oriented, that programming, that lab, right? So this is my repo, and we call this as master, right? So this is the repo which all of you have to push your branch to, and we call this as master, right? So I'll show you how to do that. So student one, say let's create a program, say program one, and this program one we need to push to my repo. Student two should have again program one, right? And then again they have to push it to here. This then program one. Now like one name, right? Program one. And this also needs to be put to the master. This is what you want to do now. So to do this, the instruction is open. Yeah, I guess you cannot do it right on Windows. But if you have MacBook, please try to follow the instructions and see if you can push to my repository. So what you do is open a terminal app and cd to a directory, and then you need to initiate a Git repository, right? So, okay, listen. So what I do is I open a new terminal, then I'll go to my desktop, right? So I'm on my desktop now. So users desktop, right? In the desktop, I need to initiate a Git repository. So initiate is just to start or to make a file which can be read in by this Git command, right? So it's called initiation. So the statement to do that is git space init dot, right? That's the statement to do the initiation of a Git repository or a Git file, right? So I'll just copy and then I'll paste it on my desktop here. Git init dot enter. Now it says that it has initialized an empty Git repository in users desktop dot git /. So this is this is not an error. This is a normal output, right? For this command, when you initiate, it should say that it has initialized something, right? If you don't have the statement, then you have done something wrong, right? So this init statement should give you some message that it has done something, right? So it has now initialized an empty Git repository, right? Because we haven't added in any files yet. So we have just created an empty Git repository. The file which you want to add is, what file do we need to add in this repository? Program one is the file we need to add into this initiated Git repository, right? So this is done. The next step is add files, right? To add files, you can do git add dot, right? That's the statement. So so I have some files on my on my desktop. Okay, so I'll just go one step back. I'll create a folder here, like say first commit, right? I'll just make a folder. Instead of desktop, I'll use a folder. You got it, right? Because when you do initiation and you add, it can add up all of your files and folders in that from the desktop. And I have some files and folders on my desktop. So I don't want to add all these files. So I'll just create a folder called first commit, right? And then I'll go back to my terminal and then I'll do cd first commit. I'll go into this first commit folder. In this folder, there is nothing. It's empty, right? It's empty folder. So I'll initiate an empty Git repository in this folder. Okay. Again, with command. What is the command? Git init, right? Git init. Right. Again, what it says, initialize empty Git repository. Again, right? So now I have a folder on my desktop which is called as first commit. And in this first commit, you don't have any file yet. So we need to add in the file called program1, right? But before you do that, you initialize it, right? Initiate it, right? So this is the command which I've done on that folder. So now anything and everything you add in that folder will be added into the Git repository. Okay. So let's make a program called program1, right? So I'll just create a text document. And in the text document, I'll just add something like, I don't know, this is like, this is a sample commit, right? And this is what we want to push to that master repository. I'll save it as program1 as discussed, right, on desktop. And then I will just try to move it to your first commit folder, right? You see this program1 file, I'll just move it to first commit. So in the first commit folder, I have my program1. So anything which is in this folder is going to be pushed to the master repository, right? So now the next instruction is, what is the next instruction? Where's my text document? So the next instruction here is, okay, so you need to add, right? So add, so this is git space add dot. So now I'll go back to my terminal. I'm in first commit folder. I've initiated it, and now I will add. So what do you think this will do? Yeah, add all the files within that first commit folder, right, to the empty git repo. Done. No error, right? Done. So now you have to commit, right? Commit is so commit. So there is a difference between like committing and pushing and pulling, right? So these three words have been used differently in this Git version control. So commit is a little different than pushing, right? But let's assume that committing is just pushing the files to your master repo, right? So to do that, you have to use this statement called git commit am, and then you give some message, right? So I'll just copy the statement here and go back to my terminal and just paste this message. And let's type in some message as this is our first class commit. Okay, git commit. Some arguments minus a minus m is a message, and then just some message for record that this is our first class commit. That's it. Done. So what does it say? What is it saying? Right? So it has detected a file called program1.rtf, and it says that one file has been detected in this commit. You understood? Makes sense, right? So the last thing which you have to do is you need to push now, right? So now everything is set, and we just need our object-oriented programming laboratory HTTP link, right? Our master repo link to do a final push. So the next statement here says that git remote add origin. I'll just copy the statement here, git remote add origin, and the link for the lab repo is in your email, which is this link here, right? Copied. GitHub, my name, object oriented programming laboratory.git. So I'll just paste it in front of this and enter. That's it. The last is git push origin master. This will do your final push, right? So now you see there is Do you see any program file here? Program one file? No, right? I haven't yet pushed. So now I'll do a final push here. Git push origin master. Enter. Failed. Rejected. Why did it reject? Oh, rejected. Master fetch first. Failed to push some refs to. Okay. Let's see. Why do we have this error? Should we try force? Mm, okay, that works, right? So what do you see now? What is the output? So it says there are three objects. They have something has been pushed. This much uh, bytes of data has been transferred, and it has been transferred to GitHub object-oriented programming laboratory.git, and it has been pushed to master repo. So now I don't have any error, right? So you appreciate the error, right? So you see this error, right? Red is your error. So there was some error before and it says that the repository rejected your push. So now it has been fixed. I just added in another argument called force that is just forcefully pushing things, which is not right, which is not good actually. So then I'll just go back to this here, and you see this notification here. Master has recent pushes less than a minute ago, right? So I click master, and do you see something here? A change here, right? Yeah, it had been pushed, but probably we had to do some. Was not displayed, I guess. But you see the program.rtf file now, right? So that is how you push things to your master repo. So I have pushed things in this repository called Object-Oriented Programming Lab, which is my repository, right? So you can also do the push in my repository, right? Locally, which would be like these branches, right? Different branches which have been directed to my repository. Then I can have access to everyone's branch, and then I can see what changes or if there are any new additions or changes which I need to adapt, right, in my master. Does this make sense? Do you understand why do we do this and how to do this, right? Do you have any questions on these instructions? Denied access? Did you use your token? Your password, username, and token? Okay. Let's we can see that now. Okay. So any questions? No questions. So I don't know. I'll have to figure out instructions on Windows. So I need some time to do that. But this is the Git version control. Okay. Next class. Okay. We need to have an exam, right? Your first exam. So the first exam should be next month, somewhere by end of first week. Next month, first week. And before our exam, we'll discuss the questions and the format, right? What to expect in that exam. And but that is coming up next month. Okay. And that's it. We are done. Why is it? Why is it? I think so. You can pull things from that. Yeah, I have pulled something. So I think maybe it's something to do with my cognition. That is what it is. I'll check my cognition. Right? They try it again whenever you have time. I'll check the cognition. Which password? Like you, so you have a token, right? You need to use the token.
Yeah, I was trying to type it and it wasn't on it was just showing my key, so I don't know.
So what you have to do is, I have this token here, right? Somewhere, this token here. Say if you have this token here, right? So you just copy this, and then wherever it asks for any password or any token, you paste that like this, and it won't show. It won't show on your terminal because it's a password, right? So password does not show up on the on this input terminal. So you just paste it, enter, it will do it. Okay, try and let me know.
Oh, I think.
Attendance, where are you? I think I have you. Yeah.
January.
Mm.